Hello everybody. So I wanted to do a video for you all for the Four of Spades. And this week I have proposed to you that you do an exercise with me. And this was because we've been through the Ace, the Two and the Three of Spades already. And I wanted to make sure that you have a practical idea about these two cards so that we can advance further in the course and in our lives with the most healthy perception possible. So this, you can say, is an Ace of Spades. And for, let's say, for the untrained eye, or for the average person, or for somebody who is very hands-on on this planet, you could say that this is a white rose. But because we are looking into the depth of things, I would encourage you to use your meditation muscle, which by now should be, fairly strong, and to simply sit and breathe and look at this image in front of you and let go of the cloud or of the thought that says that this is a plant, that this is a rose, that it is white, that it is in front of you, that you are here and the object is separated from you and it is in front of your eyes. And just sit there and try to be present right now without all these notions, and see what remains. See if you can say anything. Right? So if you sit with it long enough, and if you train your mind long enough, you will see the truth right in front of you. It was always right in front of you, and it always will be right in front of you, and you will tend to live your life wanting to name things, right? And taking those names, those concepts, those rules as reality. Okay? So you can pause here and think about everything that you can perceive in your life that is separated from you and that is has some distinctive qualities and concepts attached to it, and see if those really are true or are they just conventions and a way to dissociate, to separate from what is real? Now, what I have proposed to you for the second day was to wrap this flower in some white paper. Okay. And maybe this is not the best choice of paper, but hey, this is how it turns out, right? And so we are going to take this flower and wrap it in the white paper. And we can start from, this is a rose, and we are wrapping it in white craft paper or whatever you call it. Or we can start from, this is a soul that gets wrapped in a body that has this white characteristic, which is, to me, our body's amazing ability to self heal. Okay. We can start from saying this is a destiny that comes on earth, and it has some innate, predetermined forms and colors to it. We can start where we want, basically. We can use whatever concept we like or we prefer. Okay? And next, you can, I advised you to wrap around the white. I'm sorry you don't see anything, but you know, I asked you to wrap 2 different colors of papers around your flower, 2 different kinds, and they are as they are, right? They are not perfect either. They are obviously, or not so obviously. Let's see what they are. I will let you think about it just a moment until I am disfiguring this paper. So what they are, I was saying, obviously, they are our parents. Okay, so these 3 are the very first layers of our life, right? I'm sorry about the light. I'm gonna try to, okay, I think that's better. All right, so these are our first layers: the body, and mom and dad. So if you took a mental note of the initial flower, you can already see how it's sort of nice and beautiful, but it already looks a bit stifled in there, right? And I would suggest that you pause again and that you think about your parents. Either you had them or not. You did have parents. You do have parents. You have a male and a female human bodies that conceived you, and one female body who brought you into this world. So whatever that looked like in your reality, take your time and see what is your personal circumstance with regards to your body and your parents. And already here you might feel your breath getting a bit short. Okay? Just sit with it, with the knowing that we are now here just building on a concept that we choose. Okay, we are not doing anything else but building on a choice of concepts, right? Now, I would leave this here in a way where you can maybe see it a bit. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can do this without making a mess here. So after that, I invited you guys to choose different paper colors. Okay, and I know it's difficult right now with the lockdown and everything that's going on in the world to get your hands on some papers that are colored. I have some students that have just drawn on pieces of paper. That's cool, that's perfect. So depending on what age you are, I would really advise to take, for example, the years when something really, really nasty has happened in your life. And for me, I have two very significant deaths in my life. Okay, it doesn't have to be family. It doesn't have to be a friend. For me, for example, one is my dog, my first dog. Okay, so just take two pieces of black paper and remember the year that happened and what you had to overcome, right, because of the event. And just leave them aside, right? And then remember, let's say, the years you had a new partner, okay? And maybe it was 1, maybe it was 7, I don't know. You will do your best to remember. And you will take this piece of paper and sit with it like you sat with the initial flower in the beginning. Okay. And then maybe you will choose some green paper for the years when I don't know, your finances were good. And you remember how that shaped you, what that felt like. Okay? And then let's say our last one. Let's say the moment where a huge dream became reality. Okay? And for example, you had a baby, the big love of your life, your child. Okay? So after you search throughout your life your most significant events, I promise, if you're honest with yourself and if you really do this exercise like it should be done with a lot of awareness and interest, you will notice that difficult years were quite a lot of them. At least this is my experience, my personal experience and my clients' experiences. And so then what you do is that you take some foil and you think, okay, I don't have any very significant event from when I was 1. Okay? I don't. There's nothing obviously I can remember, and my parents didn't tell me that something very good or very bad happened. Okay? Or maybe you did, and then you put the black paper. And for every year you don't remember, you put a foil instead of a color. And I've had myself some concerns about all this, because can you see this rose already looks like it's suffering? Well, be present with it and think about it. Every single time you experience something and you go through life without remembering what's going on or without knowing what your life is about, yes, you are suffering. And when you sit with it, you will have the opportunity to understand that, have some compassion and don't stifle yourself. Don't strangle yourself with life. You don't have to hurt like this. Okay? So for every year that you don't know, again, you put foil. Let's say I put like 20 foils here. I should put 20 black papers for my particular circumstance, but let's say it's foil. And again, you can be present with the fact that yes, that is a lot of waste and a lot of foil, which is not good for the environment. And yes, hopefully that will make you think the next time when you are not being reasonable and aware of whatever you buy that is not good for you and for the planet and gets toxic and gets wasted. Be very, very present with what you are doing. And go on like this until you get something that is going to look very beautiful. So I am going to pause this for a moment and do my rose so that you can see the final result. Okay? Okay, so there you go. I didn't put 40 something layers of foil, but basically it will look big like this with a lot of years. When I did this exercise these last several days, I realized how much I do not remember of my own life. I don't know if you do, but usually, especially for people who had a lot of traumatic experiences, they don't. They have large gaps of their lives that they simply do not remember. So this is you right now. Please remember, we have built on the initial concept. None of this has to be true. We are doing here an exercise to understand some things about ourselves, and that is that we are operating with our outer layer. In our lives, if we don't look inside in there, we are going to operate with whatever our current experience is. Okay? And we are going to say, okay, I feel good, or I feel bad, or I have a nasty relationship, or I am advancing or progressing, or whatever we want to say. And if you have done this exercise, not just looked at this video, you will understand that that all is a big drama going on, because you just exist. Okay? You just are existing in this world, and your experiences of life have made you function and look at things in a way that builds on the initial you. Now, what life is about is that this thing, this rose inside, will always cry out for breath. I don't know in the beginning if you even took the time to touch this flower, to smell it, to look at it properly. Okay? This is a living thing. Everything that is wrapped around it is just mostly unconscious experience that you have some concepts about, some memories about. So what life will do, if you look with honesty, is that it will try to remove all this. It will try to get this inner life to live free, to be free and happy, and to take life and oxygen and whatever water, whatever it needs. So how does life do that? Well, it brings another thing like this, and it says, I don't even know if you can see this flower inside. It's a red rose, and it says, yes, you and me, your outer layer and my outer layer are doing just fine, right? We are having a relationship. No, you don't. Your outer layer right now is just meeting another outer layer of another person or circumstance. And if that sounds good to you, then you say, I'm happy. If that sounds not good to you, you will say, I'm miserable. Okay? So how does life do this, really? It will try to remove all of this. How? Well, one way it's been said is that it searches for the same red color in another circumstance or person. So let's say that this is that you had a baby, you were ecstatic, or you got married, you were perfectly, totally happy, or somebody died or left you for dead, right? Or you had some financial experience, whatever it was, and this left an imprint, we call it, on you. This left a layer that you say, I am like this. You identify with all these layers, and when somebody comes and picks at them, you will say either, wow, this is amazing, or oh my god, this is painful, because you do not understand that everything, the good and the bad, they need to be removed from here, right? There needs to be a freedom that you can experience. And you cannot, I'm sorry for the noise and I'm sorry for the mess. The point of my video is not to make you comfortable, but for you to understand that yes, life is about a lot of mess, where we arrive at a point where we want to be free. So we start unraveling some stuff that plagued us. But until we do, at the Four of Spades, we have to recognize this right now. This is me. This is my experience. This is how I'm living my life. And you might say it's good or bad. It doesn't really matter. As long as you understand that you have a lot of drama around you and you are seeing yourself as this, and you interact through each layer that gets like a call from life. Hey, set me free. This is not you. You are not suffering. You are not being pushed. You just need to let go of this idea, every single idea that you've gathered around you with the years that passed. Okay? And you might decide, many people I meet in this, where is it? Spiritual drama community, let's say. that have this idea that they're done, they're cooked, they know everything and they got it. It's all a mental layer that says, okay, now I am going to live my life like this. And because I've managed to be stable and I don't seem to have contradictions in my opinions and in my life, life should be like this. They do not understand that life will continue to pick at what's left there, right? And this is how I see a lot of this, where people are very eager to let, like, let's say, this color go. But when you try to touch on this color, they retaliate. So this might take a form like, okay, you might, like in my case, okay, you might take my family, my parents, my son, my husband, my home, my health, my country, everything, but not my salary, okay, not my monthly pay. Well, you know, yeah, life did come to question that layer too. So I hope you understand this analogy. I hope you do this exercise by yourself. There is a lot of value in involving your most of your senses in doing this. So touch, smell, you know, you cannot taste this, but you know, sight, you know, the hearing of the materials, and try to sort of look into what that particular color or sound or smell brings as a memory for you, and how that impacted your life in a way where now you say, I am like this, or I want this, or I know this. And you will see that it all is about layers of trash, basically, right? So the Four of Spades is a stage where you don't pick at stuff. You are just the layers, and you function as these layers of stuff. Usually, I will not say usually unaware, but in most cases we are just taking life as the job that we can do, the house that we can have. We live with the partner that is more or less there, and everything just goes on like this, and we don't necessarily like how this looks like, but this is what's going on, and so we are going on like this, right? So I really hope that you look into this exercise and that it helps you, and that you remember it every single time that you are doing it. You can do this for your entire life, or you can do this for a relationship that you're having, and see what layers has around it, and what is life bringing constantly into question about that relationship, and where it wants to remove some ideas and some concepts that we once had. You know, so yeah, I hope this helps you, and see you at the 5 of spades. Bye.